Okay, everyone, happy Saturday to you. The weekend is here. Hopefully you are kind of getting to that stage now where you're starting to get properly buzzing for tomorrow's game against Rangers at Hampden. It is Celtic with the League Cup in the bag. The league is almost in the bag. Semi-final of the Scottish Cup. Kind of going for a treble, guys. We can talk about that now. Joe and Asim are with me here. They've been good enough to join me. I couldn't make it down to Hampden, guys, but if I go like that... That'll make no sense to either of you two, but people watching at home will hopefully get what I just did there. The looks I'm getting for you two right now. Anyway, how are things, Joe? How are things?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Just recovered only just from that Legends match against Liverpool not long ago. But yeah, all good. Weather's shining down here in Wales, so apart from that, it's beautiful.
Can we have a wee chat about that Legends game? How was the game? We obviously didn't get the result. I heard you performed quite well though. I heard that from someone.
Yeah, the result didn't reflect on the match whatsoever. But beforehand, when we turned up, Liverpool actually trained the night before, and I was thinking, oh, here we go.
Tryhards.
Yeah, we're in for a hell of a game here. But to be fair, we completely dominated. We were the better team. We had 2 goals disallowed, dodgy refereeing, which we've probably seen majority of the time this season. And 2-0, but it was fantastic, a great occasion, fantastic to see, familiar faces which I haven't seen for years, Glenn Newlands, Lesty, Emilio, Crosas as well. So, it was a great occasion, fantastic support once again. But maybe on another day, a few more fresh legs to come on, we could have got a result.
Who's still got it out of the Celtic lads? Who's still got a bit to give?
I thought Lustig was still there, just cool and calm as always. Do you know what? Still, Big Stan still got a bit. He was magnificent. He played the majority of the game as well. Come off after about 80 odd minutes. Fit as anything. So. No, all of us done well. I'm very surprised how we done. Like I said, I haven't kicked the ball for a while, so we put in a good performance. Just couldn't get the result.
And loads of money raised for charity as well, which was obviously the main point of it, and probably a good weekend for you as well, as you say, off the pitch to see all the people and enjoy yourself. So no, great stuff, Joe. You're coming up this weekend for the derby against Rangers. First derby in a while.
Yes, first one since I've left. I'm taking my little boy. Like I've said previous podcasts, he's obsessed with Celtic. Kyogo and Jota, he loves them, and it's his actually first game to watch Celtic play as well. He's looking forward to it, so we'll come up and watch that. And fingers crossed that we get the result.
Yeah, hopefully you're a good luck charm and things go well. Asim, how are you feeling about the weekend? I was doing a bit prep work for this video, and it kind of, it suddenly hits you at some stage. You kind of saunter through the week and you think, the game's there, but you're kind of just getting through it. And then it hits you at one point and you go, God, we've got a big game this weekend. Is it kind of hit you yet?
Yeah, I've been the same. I've been quite relaxed all week. And then I think it was just seeing the pictures of the lads in training yesterday, and I think that's kind of got me fired up again, and you're just ready for it. It's such a big game, obviously, but I've been quite relaxed and not feeling as nervous as I have maybe like I did for the final or even the recent league game. Don't know why that is. Just feel like we're in a good place. Obviously, we all know about the result last week, but I just feel like we've got less pressure on us for this one, and I'm feeling pretty confident.
I'm glad you are, because I'm starting to shake like a leaf here at the thought of the game. But I feel like we've had a lot of kind of chances to play these matches recently. I think this is the 4th in 4 months, and there's another one coming up in a fortnight. So I kind of feel as if a lot of you're kind of used to the feeling by now, but it's obviously a major game. Guys, before we chat about the game specifically, there is a fair bit of kind of news from the last few days that I want to touch on. A few funny stories, a few interesting stories. You've probably seen this, some pictures emerging yesterday of Jota visiting an iconic Celtic bar, the Brazen Head on Cathcart Road. I've never actually been in there, so Jota's clearly got that over me. these are the photos, everyone, from the Brazenhead Facebook. They also posted saying, just thought to say Jota was just a really nice boy, made time for everyone, and was so interested to hear about Celtic, and already knew a lot. That was him admiring Henrik. Asim, did you clock what he was wearing as well?
A bit of double denim. Not many people can pull that off. I reckon you might
Under
be able
that, I
to,
mean,
Joe.
Double denim,
Uh,
no.
double denim. I think it was the Bumblebee kit
yes.
underneath. So yeah, again, one of the iconic strips. But only, like you say, only Jota could pull that off. It was great to see all the pictures doing the rounds yesterday.
Because people obviously have a wee bit of a joke about it, because it is funny, it's pretty surreal seeing him being handed the CDs and all that kind of stuff, but it's also pretty cool and pretty good from Jota that he's wanting to kind of engross himself in everything Celtic, and it doesn't like feel like it's just for show either, Asim. It feels like he's genuinely interested in, learning about the club.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, it wasn't like an event or something pre-planned. It was very much, it seemed, just off his own back. And it's what makes the club so special is players when they do come, and you'll know as well, Joe, from your time, players just kind of really fully immerse themselves and just take the club to heart, and that's what it seems like is happening with this group of players as well.
I mean, that's what I kind of wanted to ask you about, Joe, because you're probably the ideal guy to have on. I mean, you might tell me I'm wrong, but I don't get the impression when you joined Celtic you were necessarily a Celtic fan. But nowadays, you're coming up to a game tomorrow. You were tweeting about finding a pub in Dublin to watch Celtic a few weeks ago. So, I mean, tell us a wee bit about what happens to you when you arrive at the club, and how do you just get a hold of Celtic?
Yeah, I think at first, obviously, before I came, I much preferred Celtic over Rangers. So, that's one sort of point. But you just get sucked into the culture of the club, the fans, the surrounding of everything, how much it means to the fans and then the people of Glasgow, not just Glasgow, but all over the world. It's a massive club. And it sucks you in, and you just want to do so much for the club. You want to try and win as many trophies, as many games, score as many goals as you can. And you just sort of breathes you in and sucks you in, and then you become a fan. And it's not just that, but it's come down with me here in Cardiff. My family, my little boy as well. They support Celtic. They enjoy coming to watch Celtic. So it's just one of those unique clubs where, for me, I've just never seen it before.
I mean, what is it? Is it the fan base that do it? Is it the fact that you create so many memories of winning trophies?
Yeah, the fans obviously have a massive part of it, but I think it's just the culture of the club. I think it's just that winning mentality which makes you go and become a better player. The fans push you, they demand a lot from you, and it's just unique. Even when things ain't going right, they'll be there to support you and not just hammer you and criticise you as well, because at the end of the day, players are human beings, and I think that club has just got it completely right.
Did you ever venture to any Celtic pubs or strange places when you were playing for Celtic? Any Jota stories is basically what I'm asking.
No, not really. Obviously, with Jota, it was sort of off his own back. I went to a lot of sort of Q&As, flew to Ireland a few times and done them there. And, it's just an amazing fan base. And I think fans appreciate your time. It's important for you to go out and socialise with fans and show them that you are one of their own as well, and you want to be, a Celtic fan. And I think you can see that with Jota. Don't get me wrong, his gear was absolutely horrendous with the double denim and the mullet look as well. It just didn't go, but credit to him. It's fantastic to see.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it kind of gets you even further up for the weekend as well, Asim, in some bizarre way, because it makes you maybe naively think that all of these players are just fans as well. I mean, I dare say they aren't all, but it's pretty good. It was good timing, put it that way. We also had our new home kit being leaked the other day, guys. This is it. I don't know if you've seen it. These are actually mock-ups from footyheadlines.com based on a real leaked image. They're always very reliable, Footy Headlines, so that will be the new kit. Obviously, in the left there, that's the sponsor free that you'll probably go for Asim and looks brilliant. You've got the sponsor one in the middle, assuming they go with that kind of sponsor. But if they do go for a kind of white sponsor in keeping with the Adidas logo and the badge, it might look like that in the right. So I just want to say, Asim, that one in the left might be the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I love that kind of minimalistic look. As you know, I always get the kind of sponsorless ones anyway, but it just looks classy. And it could be, yeah, I think that's going to be a really popular one. I've seen some people, I think it's usual with the kits, isn't it? It's like a 360. People start off and they're not so sure, and then it grows on them. But for me, I've got my eye on that one, definitely.
Joe, you had a cracker back, I think, was it 2012, 13, the kind of, I think it was 125 years. It was quite minimalistic as well.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, one of my favorite kits actually. That was.
Does a kit matter to the player? See if you're playing and you see a nice kit. Does that matter at all?
See, I used to like looking good. Having that sort of retro-y look, and because it's like a uniform, really. You want to look smart. You want to feel nice, and players are completely different, but I did like having a nice kit, don't get me wrong. And to be fair, I was a bit lucky with Celtic over those short period of my career. We had some lovely kits, especially that black one as well. I thought that was fantastic.
It's going to be popular next season, that one, I think. We also unveiled our nominations for the in-house end-of-season awards. There are 4 awards. I won't go through them all. The main one, Player of the Year, Callum McGregor, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Greg Taylor, Reo Hatate, Jota, Kyogo Furuhashi and Daisen Maeda. Asim, who would you give your vote to if you had the choice there?
I think for me it'll be Kyogo as it stands. I just think his number of goals and the key moments he's had in big games as well. So at the rate he's going, he's obviously going to break that 30 goal mark as well. So for me, Kyogo. But it's tough competition there. Yeah, I think Hatate and Cameron Carter-Vickers again, both sensational.
There's always a bias for attackers here, Joe. You always go with the guy who scores the goals. You'll probably know.
I know this. It's crazy how these sort of works when it comes to awards. Like I was saying, I think Kyogo's obviously got a fantastic chance of winning it. I thought Jota would have had a good chance, but sort of over the last few weeks hasn't got the goals that we all would have liked. But again, I think Callum McGregor's got a fantastic chance of winning it as well. So for me, I think it's Kyogo or Callum McGregor.
McGregor won it last year, Asim, is that right?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel that might work against him.
Yeah. I think McGregor and kind of Cameron Carter-Vickers were the 2 standouts again last year. And you're right, I think Callum, he's been brilliant. It's kind of, you'd take it for granted because he's just always so good and so consistent. But Reo Hatate is also another one. Obviously, he's had the injury for the last few weeks, but I think he was on course to possibly nick it as well. And we'll see if he's back for the remainder of the season. Then he could put himself in with a shout.
Yeah, McGregor, one of the 6 names now to have been announced for the big Scott Brown and Mikael Lustig night. We've got Gordon Strachan, Johnny Hayes, McGregor, Greg Taylor, Scott Bain and Ange Postecoglou, rather kind of interestingly, given that he never managed Brown or Lustig. Joe, have you got an exclusive for us? Are you going to be the seventh special guest?
Do you know, I did get asked by him.
As an exclusive.
But I couldn't at that time. The dates just didn't work with me. Obviously, I would have loved to have come up and had a night with the lads on the sofa and sort of do some stories on the blast from the past. But no, I don't think you need me with that lineup you've got already.
Yeah, it's good. There'll be more names announced, I'm sure. Right, guys, we've kind of skirted around the issue for long enough, so we'll chat about tomorrow's game now. If you did need reminding, which you probably shouldn't, these are the Scottish Cup semi-finals. It's Inverness versus Falkirk. People seem to kind of be forgetting about that match for some reason. Saturday, 12:15, and then Celtic versus Rangers, Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Some positive news, Asim, from training on Friday. Jota and Reo Hatate back in training. No Liel Abada by the looks of things, but I think Meatloaf once said something that probably fits the bill for that. That joke went over your head, didn't it? Did either of you get that? No. That's twice that's happened in this video. Two out of three ain't bad.
I was trying to get it. Still not with me.
Just tell me about the game, mate, and I'll put my head down.
A long day for us. I think it's been a long day for us too.
Yeah, brilliant news. Obviously, I've seen the two of them back in training. I think obviously we've got a strong squad. We all know that. We've spoken about it all season. That a couple of players missing. We've got enough depth there to come in, but there's no denying that the two of them are probably our most creative outlets, and we do lack a bit of spark when they're not playing. We've seen that at the weekend there as well. So for me, if they're available, and obviously they were both in training on Friday there, so the signs look encouraging. Obviously, we don't know how match fit they are, but just if they're even in the match squad, for me that's a big boost for us going into this, because they're such key players, and having them both available. Obviously, Abada not being available potentially is a miss, but for me, Rio and Jota being there could swing that in our favour even more so.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had Ange's comments at the time we're recording. He did speak earlier in the week saying that if players got through the training week, then they would be available. So hopefully, Hatate and Jota are going to be available. Joe, how much of a boost is that for you to have those two available if they are?
Oh, massive. For me, I think Jota is one of the best wingers, attacking players, in not just in Scotland, but probably in the UK. I think, Hatate, he's come in and has been fantastic as well. It's just that boosted confidence where, if something don't go your way in that pitch, you've got two players who can come on and completely change a game. And like we've been saying all season, we've been blessed with that sort of squad depth that Celtic have. Any problems, any injuries, things that go in your way, there's players there which can come on and completely change a game, see a game out, and help you defensively as well. So, they're two massive players to come into the squad, and hopefully they can get a few minutes as well. But the squad is great, and what a chance to go and play in the semi-final and be on course for a treble.
So if you heard that Jota and Hatate or just any two important players were going to possibly be available for a big game, I guess that would improve your confidence as a fellow player, knowing that your two big players are going to be around.
Yeah, it does, and obviously you got to make sure you're on your game as well, because they'll be looking to be coming on to take your position. So like I said earlier, I think if things ain't going your way, what an amazing substitutions to have to come on and completely change a game, and just to have around that environment as well, players like that, and certain players can completely lift a dressing room. So when you look into that changing room and you see Jota getting ready and Hatate as well, you're going to be in for a great day.
It certainly lifted my mood a bit, Asim, because I've been kind of a wee bit not worried. I don't want to admit to being worried here, but missing two players like that, and I really think our last couple of performances, apart from that first half an hour at Rugby Park, I think, maybe the last 150 minutes the team's played, I think we've been really poor. Like, as poor as we've been under Ange. And I think part of that has been down to missing the spark of Jota and Hatate. And I've been kind of a wee bit apprehensive, if they are going to miss the game. And listen, they might still, but if they are available, it just kind of lifts the whole supports mood as well.
No, I totally agree. I think you're right in terms of it is a concern, because they are such creative and big players for us, and the fact that we've not been on great form. I think obviously by and large in your kind of run-of-the-mill domestic games, having those kind of players out, we know we've got the capabilities to bring others in, and we've got a strong squad. But obviously we are playing against the second best team. It is a derby match, it's a cup semi, so I think it's only natural that for yourself and myself included, and all fans, that if they two weren't available, we'd definitely be a bit more concerned and apprehensive about the weekend. But just having them, seeing them in training, for me gives me encouragement that they'll be, whether they start or not, they'll be in the match squad. And I think, again, the squad could be crucial, as Joe said. Just having the players to come on to maybe change the game could be what swings it in our way. I think it'll be a tight one again. You look at the last three games with them, they have been tight. Safe to say we're maybe due a big performance in one of these fixtures, because I think the last three have been, while we've got the results by and large that we wanted, with the draw at Ibrox and then the 2 wins since. We've not probably been at our best. We know we can play better, and that's the encouraging thing. We've won despite not being brilliant in these games. So I think if we can get another dominant display, similar to the one that we got back at Celtic Park earlier in the year, I think we'll be too strong for them. So that's what I'm hoping to see, and it'll be interesting to see how both teams approach it.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about that brilliant performance, we had one at the start of the season, as you say. But Joe, how difficult is it in these Celtic Rangers matches to find that brilliant performance?
Yeah, it's always difficult. It's you're playing against a team who also want to dominate and get one over on you, and they're at their levels. They'll be running around. They'll be chasing you down. So it's always difficult in these sort of games to get a convincing win, let's say. But I think if you look over the last season, Celtic performances over Rangers have been fantastic, and I think Rangers as well losing last week would probably try and lift them. They need to be under pressure. They'd be under pressure. They'd be coming out, straight from the off when that whistle goes. So Celtic need to be ready for that. Cool heads, try and keep possession like we always done. Build it from the back quickly as possible. Use the wide men, and I don't know. I keep saying it. I just think we got too much, for Rangers especially that home game, last game. I thought we were brilliant in possession and dominated the majority of the game. A few slip ups here and there, but it's at Hampden and anything can happen. So fingers crossed they get the win, and like I said, they're on for the treble.
I agree with you. I mean, I think there's been a lot of chat in the media, a kind of weird narrative that Rangers have us worked out and that they deserved something out of that last game at Celtic Park. I think Celtic were by far the better team, and from open play they created zilch. I think they had the 2 goals were kind of from set pieces or just after set pieces. So yeah, I just really hope that we can get playing our stuff and just and cut out, because I do think there were some stray passes in that game, and just try and cut that out, because we'll be too strong for them if we can do that. Right, Asim, no pressure. Give us a team, and I'll tell you if you get this wrong. There's no pressure for you.
So I think we'll see Joe Hart, Johnston, Carter Vickers, Starfelt, Taylor, McGregor. I don't think Hatate will start, because if he's not played in maybe 5-6 weeks, I don't know will he be thrown straight in. I wouldn't mind it. I think he's the kind of player that can adapt. We've seen obviously with some Moy, sometimes it takes him a bit longer to come back after a layoff. I think with Rio, he seems like the kind of player who would be able to pick up the speed of a game. But if he's on the bench, that's still a good option. So I'm going to go with McGregor, O'Reilly, and Iwata. And then I think Jota will start, Maeda and Kyogo.
Okay, I've got Hatate in instead of O'Reilly. I just think that midfield, I don't know if we've seen that midfield of McGregor, Hatate, Iwata yet, have we?
No.
At all?
I don't think...
For me, that's the midfield possibly for the Champions League next season. I think that's like the midfield I'm most excited about, and that's nothing against Aaron Moy, who's been one of our best players this season, Matt O'Reilly, who's just been an unbelievable signing, and even players like Turnbull. But I just think that, especially for games like this, that midfield 3, if everyone's fit, I just think has everything about it. There's legs with all 3 of them. Maybe that's the one thing you'd say about Moy and O'Reilly and Turnbull. They don't quite have the same legs, but Iwata, Hatate, McGregor, for me, they can kind of interchange as well. That's what I want to see, and I think we might. Did you have Jota in your team? Sorry.
Yeah, Jota, Kyogo, and Maeda. Yeah.
Joe, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the keeper in the back 4 is an obvious one. For me, what I'd personally like to see, I'd like to see McGregor, O'Reilly, Hatate in midfield, Jota, Maeda, and Kyogo. I think that's the formation. That's the team I prefer. I think O'Reilly just got that creativity. You saw what he done against last game. Got an assist as well. He's a very clever player. I like him. I like him a lot. I think he sees a lot of football. He sees a lot of these passes where other players don't. I think Hatate then has obviously got that drive from midfield. again, very good on the ball. Can shoot from far out, can get goals, and then you've obviously got Callum McGregor in the middle who will just dominate anyone in midfield and work rate and organise everyone. Not just that, he can play football as well, but it'd be great to see that for me. Those three in midfield, and then Jota coming back.
We've not had a long range screamer against Rangers in a while, and when you're talking about Hatate being able to shoot from distance, I'm just getting visions of him, scoring another belter from 25, 30 yards. Asim, should we be worried at all about our recent performances? Have we gone off the boil a wee bit in recent weeks?
Yeah, I think we have, like you said, the after the Kilmarnock first half hour, it was pretty flat for the rest of the game. But we all put that down to the fact the game was won. We made some changes, but then to follow up with the Motherwell game, also being quite flat, and you could see Ange wasn't very happy with it. So yeah, I don't think it's a major cause for concern, but you do wonder if you then correlate that to the fact that we did have, as we've talked about, Rio and Jota missing, and whether that really does impact us more than we realise, just because of how creative they are. I think we'll be fine for Sunday. Will take care of itself. I think it'll be another big occasion. The other thing to consider is from the final a couple of months ago. If you look at the midfield we had then was Moy, Hatate, and McGregor, and we dominated that midfield. And Moy was integral. I think he was brilliant. But I wonder if Moy plays better when Hatate's there, because then it allows Moy maybe to be a bit more creative and get further forward without having to worry about the kind of legs issue. So it just depends who's available. But I think if Rio's fit and ready, I'd love to see him start. And I think that's where our performance levels seem to improve when he is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy because Moy, for me, other than Kyogo, Moy was probably our best player, the key to winning that cup final just a few months ago. And now I don't think you'll find that many people have him in the team. And yeah, he's not been great for the last couple of matches, but it's weird just how it just shows the options we have. Basically, if someone goes off the boil slightly, we've got other players coming in. What about the fans? We should say there's a Green Brigade campaign for everyone to wear hoops. So Joe, you need to get your hoops back on for Sunday. Yeah, I mean that's going to look good as well. Hopefully, seeing the green and white everywhere. What kind of role do fans play in these games, Joe, from a player's perspective, especially at Hampden?
Oh, it's massive. Obviously, I wasn't a fan of playing at Hampden. I think, the stand is a bit too far away from the pitch. I've always liked that sort of close environment, that connection with the fans pretty close. But fans do make a massive impact. And I think when COVID did happen, that's when you saw, Celtic sort of didn't perform to their best. And, obviously since the fans have come back and had that connection and the songs and the atmosphere, there's nothing better. They make a massive impact. Like they say, the 12th person, and they are. And, they're always on top form, the Green Brigade. And, it's just, I just can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's going to be special. Asim, do you think the fans have an impact on the game, or do the fans just kind of react to what's happening on the pitch?
I think we're all in agreement about Hampden. We've spoke about it in the past as well, Hamish. How the view, unless you're higher up, it's terrible. But in recent years, I think we've turned Hampden into, obviously the amount of times we've been there and the amount of trebles we've won and cup finals, it's actually turned into a really kind of great occasion. The atmosphere has been great, and I think for Joe, if it's your first kind of time back watching for a while, I think you'll see it as well. The atmosphere will be brilliant. That last final, Hamish, as well. Some of the scenes at half time, will live long in the memory. The Celtic Glasgow song. Obviously, the mood depends on how it's going. The game's going. We've obviously been the dominant side recently, so it's been good. I think last year's semi was a bit different, so it does depend how the match is going. But it can make a difference. I think if we're on top, you hear the fans and roar them on, and it's we're so close to another treble. It's just such a big opportunity for the players and manager to basically cement themselves in history.
Yeah, it's kind of one last big push, isn't it? If we win on Sunday, we're probably going to win the treble. So that's the opportunity, but it's the risk as well, I guess. What's the final thoughts, Joe? How's it going to go?
It's got to be a Celtic win, just to hurt them even more to win a treble. They'd be absolutely devastated if it happens. And I just think, for me, I'm going to go. You know what I'm like with predictions. I've been horrendous this season again.
You're getting better.
I'm getting there. But I'm only thinking of my boy here. And I'm going to say Celtic to win on penalties because he loves penalties.
Oh, no.
I know. And I'm hoping...
I've said it before, Joe, I'll be out the stadium. If it goes to penalties, I'll be out the stadium. I am not staying for that.
I've got to catch a flight at about 7 o'clock in the evening. So... hopefully it doesn't go to penalties, but for him he'd love it.
Amazing. Hopefully he has a great day out like the rest of us. Asim, I'm just reading Abada's apparently fit as well, according to Ange, so that's okay. Positive. Does that change your thoughts at all? What are your thoughts for the game?
Yeah, no, it does. It's look, if those three players are suddenly available, that to me it's a big difference. It's so much more quality then that you can either start with or just have to bring on. You look at the bench in the last couple of games, it hasn't looked as strong as previous ones. So for me, that's huge if the three of them are fit and available, because Zabada's got a great record in this fixture as well. No, that's really pepped up my mood. I thought we'd win, but obviously was a bit, like you say, a bit worried and a bit more nervous as the game approaches. But I'm confident that we'll get the job done. The psychology will be interesting as well for us. It's a chance to really kill off their season. And we have so much to look forward to. Still got a title victory to wrap up, and then hopefully a treble. So I think we'll do it. I think it will be close, but I think we'll win by the odd goal. So I'm going to go 2-1.
Okay. Very exciting, guys. I'm properly up for it now.
What's your prediction?
Will have. All right, I'm not getting away. I tried to skirt past the issue there. I think I went 3-0 last time, and that was a daft one. So I'm going to say. I actually hate myself for saying this. I think extra time. I don't think penalties, but I could see it going to 120 and us probably winning by an odd goal. But I just think it's going to be another afternoon fraught with nerves. The cup final was horrendous and we were kind of on top for that, and I feel like this might be even more nervy. But listen, if we win, as long as we win, I don't care how it happens, even if it's penalties, Joel. I'd probably even take that right now if you offered me it, but God, that's going to be nervy if it happens. Right, okay, we'll leave it. Thanks very much for your time again, guys. Thank you to you for watching this video. Enjoy the game, do your best to enjoy the game. We'll be back post-match regardless of the result. If you need more Ange chat before the game, I did speak to Socceroo James Holland in yesterday's video, so check that out and fill another 20 minutes ahead of kick-off. Chat to you tomorrow.